Joining me now, we have founder and editor of the Pinpoint Press on Substack, our friend Rick Newman. So, Rick, hey, it's good to see you. Look, this collapse of the talks means that Americans, they're going to face 50% tariffs on a large number of goods from our ally to the north. How big a blow will this be to consumers, and how is it going to play politically for the president?
I mean, any tariff, unless there's a good reason for it, and there is no good reason for these tariffs, any tariff raises costs on American businesses and American consumers. It's a tax on stuff that we buy. So in that regard, it's not going to be helpful. And this comes at a time when inflation is already too high. Affordability is obviously a big problem for millions of families. Now, I think what might be going on here, Alex, is yes, of course, both sides are saying, oh, the talks have collapsed. That's their public stance. That sometimes we know the template. This is kind of a negotiating ploy. There could still be a deal. I mean, we could have these tariffs in place for a few days, a few weeks, maybe a month, and then we could still get to a deal. But, you know, this is yet again, I mean, Trump is just going country by country and product by product, imposing these unnecessary taxes that we're all going to pay.
Well, it was the Canadian Prime Minister, though, who told his trade negotiators to walk away, saying the last-minute changes in the U.S. proposed terms were unfair, they were uneconomic, and also called into question the reliability of any deal, Rick. Was standing up to Donald Trump, though, the right move here, and where does this leave the talks going forward?
I mean, Mark Carney knows what he's doing. He's a smart guy. He's got a great resume, arguably a better resume, and he's possibly more trustworthy than Donald Trump. It depends what's going on behind the scenes here. But, you know, to zoom out a little bit, we have a free trade deal with Canada and with Mexico. And what Trump is doing here, I think that's what Carney's talking about. He's like, why are we talking about side tariffs when we're supposed to have a free trade deal with the United States anyway? And it's because Trump wants to micromanage the economy.
Right? That Trump negotiated.
Right.
That deal.
Right. So, you know, Trump just picks his categories because he wants to control this little part of the economy or that part of the economy. Maybe he's got a friend who would benefit from this or that tariff to protect some company here in the United States. And it just seems arbitrary. I mean, it seems completely arbitrary to all of us, doesn't it? Why does he pick any given industry for a tariff for any given country? And why now?
Yeah. Let me ask you about the U.S. national debt. It is now the highest in U.S. history, $40 trillion. Put it into perspective. Why is this a problem? And does this high of a national debt create any risk for the country's economic stability, Rick?
Yes, it does. And there have been worries about a so-called U.S. debt crisis for years and years, even when the national debt was less than $10 trillion or just 25% what it was. I wrote recently about something called the Simpson-Bowles Commission, which was a big effort back in 2010 to deal with the national debt. And it was, I think it was only $8 trillion back then. So what's finally happening is there's finally so much debt coming into the market from the U.S. government, but also from other governments. And now the AI build out means companies are putting all this debt onto the market. And when you get more debt than you have people willing to buy it, the only thing that can happen is interest rates have to go up. And that has actually started to happen. So that is a sign that the debt crisis is here. It doesn't mean we're going to have a recession right away or a depression right away. It's going to be slow moving. But the market is announcing that the U.S. debt crisis is here. You can see it in mortgage rates. Mortgage rates were 6% at the start of the year. They're now around 6.7%, and they are probably more likely to go up than to go down. It affects credit card interest rates. It affects the car loan interest rates. So this is what a debt crisis looks like. So the U.S. government, public policymakers in the United States should be addressing the debt. They should be getting the annual deficit down. They are not doing that. What they're saying is, oh, it's looking like it's a problem. Maybe we should start thinking about doing something about it.
Huh, you think? So a New York Times analysis tracks President Trump's economic vows and where they stand now, and that includes his clearly broken promises to slash the debt. GDP growth has slowed to 1.8%. It's well below the 2.75% that was inherited from President Biden. The deficit ballooning, gas and grocery prices rising. Is this the new normal, Rick, or is there a way to reverse it?
It's a great question. And, you know, when Trump came into office, his Treasury Secretary, Scott Bessent, laid out this 3-3-3 plan. It was getting debt down to 3% of GDP. It's actually gone up to about 6% of GDP. It was annualized 3% real GDP growth. We are underperforming as an economy, but as people like Warren Buffett will have said many times, do not underappreciate or undersell the U.S. economy. I mean, the U.S. economy, absent the government, is a remarkable instrument of wealth creation and wealth generation. The government is the problem, not the economy. So we know what it takes to fix political problems in this country. It has to become a crisis before anybody does anything about it. So maybe now that we're getting to the beginning of a crisis, it will get people started on doing something about it. And by the way, I think a forcing function here is going to be Social Security running short of money in a few years, and then Medicare right behind that. Those will force the government to do something. But it's quite possible and probably likely we're just going to muddle along until we get there.
Okay, Rick Newman, despite the content, it's good to see you. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Alex.